Welcome back to the Neo Marketing Podcast. Today we're going to talk about employee communications.
Welcome to the weekly Neo Marketing Podcast, featuring one half of the Golden Group C-Suite, Kyle Golding and Pritch Pritchard, APR, PRSA Fellow.
Talk about an area of public relations that I don't think very many people think about, and I'm on a mission. My mission is to make sure that people understand the totality of contributions public relations can make, because most folks think about it in terms of media, earned media in particular.
That's true. Very traditional is the view of public relations.
Yes, and so we at the Golden Group want to bust that just completely up, kind of like the ice that's out there right now.
Yeah, well, let's disrupt that idea.
Disrupt it. I love it.
I do
Disrupt. So employee communications, it's become a big hot button issue in the last year or so in terms of public relations research, long ignored. The human resources folks tended to own that for a long, long time.
And do nothing with it.
Well, I don't think they understand. I mean, they've got
wasn't
a lot
their
of good
expertise.
information.
It wasn't
but
their specialty.
It's not their expertise.
Your
exactly.
HR director is not a communicator.
Right.
They're someone who understands the legalities and the formalities of human relations, of hiring, firing, taxes,
right.
payroll, etc. They're not professional communicators.
Keepers of the information, certainly, but and critical information, and employees need
Very
to go.
specific and specialized, but again, not professional communicators.
Not professional communicators. So this is where your PR person comes in.
Absolutely.
Or marketing /PR, whatever. Because your employees are your ambassadors. They are still talking over the fence, just as they've done for generations. Now it's just electronic fences that they're talking over.
Virtual fences.
Virtual fences. So if they're not on point, if they don't understand the company's mission, if they don't understand the marketplace or where the company is in the marketplace, if they don't understand what's going on in terms of a crisis in particular.
And if they don't feel valued and
Absolutely.
a part of that process.
Yep, absolutely.
You can't just tell them, you have to have a conversation with them for them to understand it, buy into it, and be a part of it.
Oh my God, what a concept, two-way communication, right?
Yes.
We talk, but we also listen.
You can't just shout from on high in the C-suite, here's who we are, what we're all about, and tell people that we're a great teamwork organization, or we have great this, that, or the other, and they see it every day and think, that's not what I see.
That's not what I see. And who cares what the boss says? Research shows us over a long period of time that face-to-face communication is the most effective. It takes a lot of time because you're only
people
reaching...
trust people.
People trust people, right? And if you hear it from your supervisor, it's more likely to be true than if you see something on the bulletin board from the CEO.
And then if I hear it from you and I'm considering buying that thing that you do, the product or service, the widget that you produce, I'm considering doing business with your entity, but I know you as an employee and I ask you like, hey, are you guys really good at this? Is this really what you should be doing? Is this going to fit my business scenario?
Sure.
That information I get from that employee is 100 times more important than marketing.
Well, we've all done it. We've all known people that have worked for companies that you're thinking about buying a car and somebody works for GM. What are you going to do? You got to call that person that you know at GM and go, hey, I'm thinking about getting this Cobalt. What do you think? The Edelman Trust Barometer, it's been done for the last 20 years, continues to show that the most trusted source of information is someone just like you and me.
Which is the value and the power of social media when it's done well, when it is actually person-to-person communication. Brands get to do what they're going to do, but relationship building via digital channels, social media, and then traditional marketing, and all of those avenues together and combined, which creates your brand concept. These are the opportunities that you have with content marketing, with showing video and doing things like this to really give the human side of the business.
Absolutely. That's very, very important today. People are making decisions on what a company stands for, and a company stands for what its employees stand for and what they believe in, and most importantly, what they invest in. So,
and again, it has to come from bottom up, not top down.
You said two things. One earlier, back to relationships, because it's all about relationships, and then most recently you said engagement, and that's critical. And again, a nit point, but here's where public relations can help as well. One of the things that scares people the most is talking in front of people.
Yes.
So you got a line supervisor who's never talked to a group of people in his life, perhaps, who is not feeling very comfortable about that, the PR person can come in and help them become more comfortable in how they present the information.
And it's really just breaking down those fears.
Yep.
You know, it's not about creating cute little sayings or giving them sentences to just regurgitate,
Right.
because then it's inauthentic and people are going to see through that anyways.
Yep.
But it's getting people done, getting the nervous supervisor or mid-level manager to understand enough about what's happening and why everyone should be interested in it and why they need to be communicated. Then that can relay those fears down, and they can just have a personal
They just
communication.
have a conversation,
Absolutely.
absolutely. And it's all got to work together. We've kind of knocked on the CEO and the communication from the C-suite and
Sure.
how people don't pay attention to that, but it is all connected. And the CEO's comments and the CEO's interest areas are really kind of what drive that train, but it's got to be connected with what the employees are experiencing, and we talked about that, but also what the employees how they're being informed, what information they have at their disposal to help make their decisions.
One of the biggest areas of dysfunction that I find when we work with small businesses that start, especially startups, maybe tech startup, they
Right.
start small, boom, they blow up overnight.
Yep.
And now they need 50 employees and 100 employees and 200 and 500 employees in a year. And the structure to manage 200 people or 500 people versus the 7 that started it or the 2 that started it
Sure.
isn't in place. And these gaps in communication is the majority of the issues that happen.
Absolutely.
That drag a company down. Sometimes you see a company blow up and then implode on themselves.
Yep.
The lack of structure and internal communication is typically the culprit.
Because you're worried about payroll. How are we going to get all these people paid? You got contracts. They got to do their work. So you talk
Trying to
about
get the product out the
productivity.
door, make the customer
Absolutely.
happy, make every sale you can.
Absolutely.
And it's actually, our partner Felicity uses this term all the time, death by success.
Yes.
You can grow too fast, and typically people think of growing too fast as they can't fulfill orders.
Right.
But a lot of times, what I see more often than that is you lose communication channels internally,
Yep.
and the company starts operating very ineffectively because you're not talking to each other, because the 10 people who are doing things are now 200.
Right.
The lack of internal communication can kill a company just as quick as you can't get the orders out in time or you can't get your raw materials in.
Well, and as you say, it's particularly important with startups because a small group of people started it up and they were the success, and they've added people, but they're still communicating like they're the small group
Right.
of people that started up.
They still think if they say something in a meeting one time with the 6 founders,
Right.
everyone knows it.
Everybody knows
Not
it.
the case anymore.
Nobody knows it.
That's a very interesting take on internal communication, because everyone understands, company morale and company concept, but there's
Company
so
culture.
many nuances
Right.
and so many places where a really well company can fall down if they do these things poorly.
And it's very easy to trip up because most folks don't pay attention to it.
There you go. So again, as you started off, PR, public relations, which you often refer more to as public relationships,
Yes.
is again here very identified as the relationship in the internal
In the
communication
internal
process.
communication process.
Hey everyone, welcome to the Neo Marketing Podcast special guest segment. That's right, we have our first special guest for 2018. It's Alyssa Murphy from Next Thought and the president of AMA OKC. Good morning.
Good morning, Kyle. Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. We're glad to have you here. We put out in 2017 we were going to have guests, and here we have in 2018 we're having our first guest. Tell everyone who doesn't know about what AMA is.
So the AMA stands for the American Marketing Association, and the Oklahoma City chapter is the local chapter for the national organization. I believe they have about 66 chapters nationwide, and there's one in Oklahoma City and one in Tulsa. So we are focused on central Oklahoma and the Oklahoma City metro.
Very nice.
Yeah.
And you have regular monthly meetings.
Yep.
And what are the next monthly meetings that are coming up? Who are the speakers, topics, things people can expect?
Yeah, so we actually, just yesterday we had our January guest speaker. We're calling them our signature speaker series. So that's, instead of just calling it a luncheon, it really is a signature speaker that comes to impart some sort of a continuing education in one form or another. So yesterday we had Jennifer Fogg from TBS Factoring. She's their CEO. She's really fantastic, and she did a great talk that's more focused on professional development, on failure and why failure is important. But she had she didn't even have a PowerPoint. It was just all kind of like nuggets of wisdom, and everybody was like taking notes.
That's my kind of presenter.
Exactly.
I never
exactly.
need PowerPoints either.
Yeah, that and like something you could have just Googled. No, she was very engaging. And next month is our traditional Super Bowl showdown. So that's where we take all the Super Bowl ads. Can't take all of them. We can't go over. I wish
The
we
best
could.
ones, right?
Best and the worst.
There you go. The ones that are most interesting.
The ones that got everybody talking, and we'll have a panel up there, and we'll talk about what we liked about this. From like, was it an effective campaign? Was it a good message? Was it just awful? We have a good laugh, and it's a lot of fun. So that's February 8th.
Very nice. And then you have your awards ceremony coming up relatively soon as well.
Yes. So the Marketini is our award that we give to local marketers and marketers who are doing really great campaigns. Historically, it's been focused on individual marketing strategies like campaigns. Like we'll focus on best direct mail campaign, best social campaign, and then tier it in that kind of format. What we're looking to do though is maybe shake things up a little bit and give maybe local brands who haven't heard about us before enter their brand. So trying to make it a little bit more Oklahoma brand centric. It's an idea that we got from our PCC rep, who is a former chapter president from Colorado.
It's very interesting. I like the approach.
Yes. So we'll be looking at ways that we can engage our direct businesses, maybe other businesses that are represented by smaller agencies that just aren't really good at writing down, an entry. So we'll be looking at ways that we can incorporate people into that award, but it is on April 20th.
When we were, when we first started the Golden Group, we did a lot of award stuff, trying to get our name out there.
Yeah.
We definitely did the AMAs every year because this is the reason it was important to us. Part of your judging was the effectiveness.
Yeah, absolutely.
And some of these contests out there, whether online or other organizations, it's just a beauty show.
Yes.
It's just how pretty was it.
Yes.
But we all know when we're talking about marketing, it has to be effective. It has to work.
What is good marketing without a KPI, right?
That's right, exactly. And if not only can you, it's one thing for it to work, you have to explain that's what your intent was.
Exactly.
And how you measured it, etc. It really shows proficiency.
Absolutely.
That's why the Marketinis are one of our favorite awards around here.
And it's a fun kind of award, and we've gone back and forth between, do we want to, change the name of the award, or is that name the name of the event? And I think we just kind of have to stick with the Marketinis for now.
It's always a great event. I think that they do a great job with it. The AMA always does. One of the things I like about AMA, as opposed to some of the other professional organizations you'll be a part of, which all have their pros and cons, is a little bit more casual and a little bit more fun and a little bit more of getting to know each other, which for me is a big value when it comes to professional organizations.
It is absolutely great networking.
Thank you very much, Alyssa, for joining us and being our first guest in 2018.
Thank you very much.
Tell everyone how they can find out about AMA OKC
You
online.
want to go to amaokc.org. You can find out about all of our upcoming events, and we'll be posting some information on social media channels and through email here in the next coming weeks about how to enter an award or enter a strategy or a brand into the Marketinis. So.
Or join up.
Or join us. We'd love to have you.
That's our first guest on the new marketing podcast for 2018. If you're interested in being a guest, hit us up in the links below. We'll see you next time.
And if you're interested in joining the show, come on down, because we'd love to have you.
Hit us up on the website, thegoldengroup.com/contact, and any social media channel where you find this program or clips of it. Hit us up in the comments or the DMs, and we'll talk to you.
Darn right.
That's what we do.
Until next time, thanks for joining us.
Good luck.
Ciao.